Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Don from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And the next time you need a part for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
This is a second part of a two-part series. In the first part, we took basically the front of the engine apart and removed the timing belt. In this one, we're going to show you how to change the water pump and then put the timing belt back on and put everything back together. Tools, the first set of tools are basically the same. You will need a 5mm Allen wrench, a razor blade and holder to clean off the gasket area for the water pump, a torque wrench, as well as what I didn't mention here was a catch pan for catching the coolant from the engine.
And with these out of the way, you can slip the belt right off. Bring it out. Locate the drain plug on the radiator right here. It's red. And remove your radiator cap. And unscrew your drain plug. Have your bucket there to catch it. There's an 8mm Allen bolt right in there, and that's right below the water pump. And if you remove that and have a container underneath, it'll drain out your coolant to below the water pump level.
But in this case, the bolt is too rusted in there. We couldn't remove it, so we're just going to knock the water pump off and let it drain into the pan that way.
Locate your two 12mm bolts that hold a bracket to the water pump and to the alternator and power steering bracket, and remove those.
There are two more 12mm bolts that hold that bracket. They're kind of in behind where that power steering pulley is. Okay, we'll speed up here as we remove those bolts, and you can see it's kind of a matter of using different size extensions to get to the bolts. Once you loosen up one of them, the power steering pump can be kind of slid up a little bit out of the way to get to the other one.
And then locate your three bolts that are remaining holding in your water pump, and those are 12mm.
And we'll fast forward here as we remove those last three. So that's 7 bolts in all that hold that water pump in.
Using a hammer to tap on the water pump to break it free.
Okay, so you hear that we broke it free. The water came out because we weren't able to drain from the plug beforehand, so we just have a catch pan in there to get as much of the water as possible.
Grab the water pump, pull it out. See in the old pump, some of the gasket stayed with the pump. The other part of it is on the block, and we're going to clean that up with a straight blade razor.
And be sure to clean all the gasket material off as well as you can. The better you clean it off, the better it will seal when you put it back together.
So we get the old water pump and the new part, and we've used a little spray adhesive on the gasket to hold it here in place while we put it back in.
And we'll speed up here. Basically, Don just puts it down into place, then gets all the bolts started in by hand first, and then tightens them up. And when you tighten these up, you should tighten them to between about 17 and 19 foot-pounds.
I have the old idler here, put the new one here. So you can see that they're the exact same, and they're going to go in just the way it came out.
And we'll speed up here as we put the bolt in place for that idler pulley, and then tighten it up. This should be tightened up between 25 and 30 foot-pounds.
The old and the new tensioners look exactly the same, and they're going to go on the same way. I'm just leaving that loose for now.
Make sure your engine's in the right position. Shine a light directly at the front pulley. The light should go right through that hole and light up the red mark behind it. And then down, a little hard to see, but the white mark that's on your crank pulley should line up with the white mark that's on, or the lineup mark that's on the block of the engine.
Putting the new belt down inside. And when you got it on, make sure that the teeth all line up on the belt and the sprocket for the cam and for the crankshaft. And recheck to make sure that your timing marks are lined up. So we're going to take the 5mm Allen wrench that we have, put it in the tensioner, and press on it until the belt is firm, and then tighten back up your 14. And torque your tensioner bolt to 38 foot-pounds. Putting the lower timing cover back on. I'm feeding the lower timing cover up, and I'm keeping it to the right or to the front of the engine with the water pump kind of inside of it at this point. And then I'm going to slide it over the water pump. And after doing that, I'm going to feed it underneath the engine mount bracket. and the idler pulley, or the idler tensioner. May require a little force. You can see right here, this is where it hangs up. I'm just gonna a little push, and it goes right in.
And fast forward as Dawn goes from the bottom and the top both to just put the bolts on for that lower timing chain cover.
Installing the upper timing cover.
And we'll fast forward here some as we start the bolts in. Don't forget that there's a bracket that goes on the rear part of that timing chain cover. Make sure you put that in place and bolt it in place. And then we'll just fast forward again here as we put the rest of those bolts in, tighten them up nice and firm, probably about 15 or 16 foot-pounds.
Putting the bracket back on, goes on the engine mount. I'm reinstalling the pulleys for the water pump, and I'm going to put the dish side in, small one on first. Same thing with this, the big one, dish side in.
Okay, and again we'll fast forward as we get those bolts started in, and then we'll do the same thing we did to take it out. I'll hold the belt on the water pump while Dawn tightens each bolt. And again, you do have to have the engine lifted up a little bit in order to access this.
I'm putting the motor mount back in.
Okay, so you can see we let the engine down a little bit to line things up. And I'll fast forward it here as we just start all the bolts by hand, get everything lined up, and then start tightening them up. Once you get them all started, you can let the engine down back into place, and then tighten everything up nice and firm.
Putting the bolt back in the power steering reservoir. And then the retaining screw. I'm going to put the washer and pulley back on. It's only going to go one way because it's keyed. Put that on first. And your pulley. My impact gun. Slowly. Putting the splash shield back up. You feed it from back to front. This is the easiest way to get it in. You secure it with your two bolts. I'm going to go ahead and feed the belt back up over the AC compressor. Make sure it's on there correctly. I'm going to pull it over the crank and feed it over the tensioner. Once I know everything's okay there, tightening up the tensioner. Checking the tension on the belt. You want it to be tight, but have just a little bit of flex.
You should be able to move the belt up and down about 1/8 of an inch once it's tight.
That's all set. Tighten up to 14 on the end of the pulley. Put the alternator belt back up. I'm going to get it on the top pulley first. And around the alternator. And around the crank.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward here slightly. The belt's back on, and now we're re-tightening that tensioner. And you basically want to tighten it up until you can grab the belt between the pulleys, and you should be able to move the belt up and down between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch, actually closer to 1/8 of an inch. Once it's that tight, then you can use your 12mm and tighten the bolt that's on the back of the tensioner that goes into the alternator.
I'm tightening up the lower nut on the alternator. I'm reconnecting the battery.
Okay, so speed it up here as we refill the radiator. Refill the radiator to about 1 inch, within 1 inch of the top, and then fill just using the regular coolant fill. And drive your car a little bit. Check the fluid the first few times you drive it. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.1aauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.